the world is that? I mean, they've never seen anything like it. Hey, this is Jason with Denwerks. I got a pretty cool little rig here. It's a D100 Dodge, 1971. You know, I've owned a couple of these. I've had them on, one of them on Bring a Trailer, and they're just really neat trucks. This is an Adventurer D100, and you know, they made them a 3/4 ton and stuff too. This is a 1/2 ton. And the one thing that's really interesting about this truck, they also call them a sweep line, and you can just see the way the body goes back to the body line. But one thing that's really interesting about this truck is that originally, you can see here it's dark green, but it was sublime. It must have been special ordered, and if you look down in different areas, you can see that sublime green. If you don't know anything about sublime, you know, that's the colors they put on Challengers, you know, Cudas, special Cudas and different things. It's actually called a high impact color. And if you remember, they actually made a couple, there was a truck, I think it was 7071, called the Dude. And those ones were only available in high impact colors, special colors. And those trucks would have like a big, you know, let's say it was the sublime green, they would have, you know, if it was white or black decals, it would have white. If it had white, it would have white here and the white roof. And if it had black decals on it, and it would have a black top, and it would say the Dude right back here with where it says the Adventurer. But what makes this one more interesting is I don't think very many were painted this color, and I don't know the history of that, but for sure 100% this was originally painted that color. And I'll show you different stuff when we walk around on it in general. But you know, the paint's old, but the truck is really solid. There's a couple spots of rust underneath, just, you know, on the bottom of the rocker, which is pretty common. But overall, solid truck, and it drives good. When I first bought it, I drove it about 60, 70 miles, and it cruises right down the road nice. If you look down the side, you know, pretty straight. You're going to see some dings, you know, on the doors. You know, there's 2 dings right there, and you can see another ding right here on the bed. You know, a lot of scratches and a lot of chipping. Here you can see that sublime in there. But you know, a lot of touch up, really old paint, and so I'm not trying to make it look like it's a show truck or anything like that, but I mean, honestly, it does look pretty good. You look at the wheels, those are Chrysler wheels, 5 on 4.5. They look real good, and I put new tires on it as well. They're not the most cheapest and not the most expensive tire, but it did need tires on it, so I went ahead and put tires on it. This is the kind of rig you could probably fly in and drive home. And if you look at the front here, you know, it's pretty faded. But there again, you can see that sublime, you know, up there on the cowl, around the windows and everything. And we'll go ahead and show you the lights that are working here. Got your parking lights, got headlights, bright lights, and then we got blinkers. We got the right, which is actually left if you're sitting behind the wheel, and then your left, which is right there. A friend of mine pointed that out to me the other day, that I was speaking from my point of view instead of the driver's. But you can see some little hairline cracks and stuff around the lenses. Overall, the grille looks nice. This is metal on the outside, and then they're plastic inserts. And usually these get pretty brittle, but they look pretty good. You can see some little chipping and stuff down there, and you'll see some little imperfections and little denting and stuff on the bumpers. And but you know, you look down this side, you know, this side's actually pretty straight for an old truck. You'll see a little bit of waves on the bed back there, but overall it's in pretty good shape. it's just a solid rig. We'll give a little bonus to anybody who could tell me what that hood ornament's off. That's definitely not something that's factory to the truck, unless it's some kind of special edition, but I haven't done any research to see what that is, and maybe it's something really rare that's worth 500 bucks, I don't know. And but let's go ahead and look down this side. You'll see little scratches. You can see the marker lights all work. We got those all working. Emblem looks good. I actually like the Adventure body style, and with all the trim. I mean, it looks cool, and it's a high option truck. This thing has factory AC, factory 318 V8. The only trim that's missing, there's a wheel lip molding that would go around each wheel. So, but I don't have those. It has 3 gas tanks, but we've only used 1. And this one, I've never tried the other ones. And go ahead and rev it up there, Nolan. Sounds like a truck. I like the sound. And here you can see that high impact green underneath there. You can see it in the door here where the window felt's gone. That door on the passenger side has been replaced, and this fender on the driver's side has been replaced. Those were red, but the cab, everything else is that sublime green. Just wanted to point that out. And you can just see some little cuts and stuff in the paint. You can see that green down in here. Be nice if someone painted it back that color, especially if you had a Sublime Cuda or something like that, or a Charger, something like that. You know, you can just see some of the paint flaked off and someone touched it up. And a lot of this work was already done when I bought the truck. And you can see here around the back window, in good shape, not rusty. Again, you can see that green there as well. And if you look on the roof, you can see there was, oh, that's just some old glue. I didn't try to peel it off, but it probably had an antenna up there. But if you look up around the gutters, you know, again, not rusty, you know, that you could probably cut that out. You know, I mean, not cut, chip the old sealant out there and reseal it. But it seems to be pretty dry inside and not leaking. We'll walk around here to the back. You can see right here a couple little, it got butted in a little bit by the bumper a long time ago, and it's got some little pinholes in the corner. And the bottom of the cabs look pretty good. You can see here the lights work. Gonna put your brake lights on, blinkers, left and the right, and I think even the reverse lights work. Yep, there's the reverse lights. And you'll notice here too that the license plate light works. And again, you can see the chipping on the paint, but with that green underneath there. You know, someone had a bright idea and let's put the license plate on there. And but you can see that's an original license plate, 1971, and I think it's actually even titled with that. And here you can see that Sublime. That's the original sticker on the back. And I love the bumper. It's got a cover there as well, you know, for stepping on it. And go down here and look down the side. You know, again, it looks pretty good. You can see one little out here on the outside, the bottom of the bed here, some little bubbling right there, and a little hole right there. But overall, for a truck like this of its age, in pretty good shape. You can see that green right there, and a lot of potential here, especially with the special option color. And hopefully someone on Bring a Trailer will be able to shed some more light on that. And I know that the dude trucks, you know, I'm not trying to say this is a dude truck, because those all came originally with the 383, and they were all long beds, just like this truck. And the beginning of the VIN of this truck starts out just like a dude too, but they were only 383 trucks, and this is definitely a 318. So anyways, we'll take a look at some other stuff. Okay, here we'll take a look inside. I just wanted to mention too that I don't have any lock or a key for the lock. I can put the key in there, but it doesn't turn it. And but I've never had it apart either. I mean, you might be able to make it work. The door's locked, but I would suggest not doing that because you can't get in. I'll go ahead and show you the interior. Overall, it's actually not too bad. The dash pad looks in good shape. You know, it is a padded dash. And you can see the steering wheel doesn't look too bad. The horn doesn't work. You can see here it's missing right here on the end. And odometer says 88049. And you can see here it's got an aftermarket radio. The heater works and stuff, but again, like I said before, the AC is not working. And you can see something was here. I think it's actually a little grab handle. You can see those two holes. There was a little grab handle, I think, that went on there. But you can see the floors. You know, the carpet doesn't look too bad. You know, it's pretty clean inside for a truck. I mean, it's definitely a truck that, I mean, my wife would ride in it. And so, you know, it doesn't smell or anything like that. And it's not overly dirty. You can see here the original VIN right there on the sticker. And you can also see here another tag on the VIN tag as well, and that's put on there. And you can see here the jambs looking pretty good shape, and this isn't all rusty at all. So you can see the original spot welds, and the door jambs look pretty good. Way in there you can see that green paint again, and up here there's no headliner in it, but you can see that green as well, and you can see the dome light is working too. I was just going to mention does have seat belts, does have a little burn hole there. And again, to me, I don't like cigarette smoke, but it doesn't smell like smoke inside. That was probably, you know, from a long time ago. And I don't even know 100% if those seats are original to the truck. Someone might have put those in it. So, because I didn't see any other signs of that. I like these old stickers. Oregon sticker there, and there's another one on the other side. I'll show you in a second. So, okay, here we are on the passenger side. You look at the door jamb. You know, again, that's not, you know, usually these can get pretty rusty in here, and these look really clean, and nice door jambs overall. You can see the sun visors. This one's a little stiff there, but both sun visors are there. Look here in the glove box. You can see that green in there. I mean, that's a telltale sign that this was originally green. And no glove box in it in general there, so just so you know. And you can see all the original spot welds are here. And we show pictures of underneath the doors, you know, on the outside of the doors and everything. The rubber gaskets look pretty good, but they could be attached in different spots. So it just depends on what you're going to do with the truck, but it does stay dry inside. I've driven it in the rain, and it sits most of its time outside here. And we've had a lot of rain. There on the other side here is another original Oregon or Redwood, California sticker. And then, you know, this factory AC, you can actually see it's got the original sticker. We'll go ahead and take a look underneath the hood here. You just flip this little latch. You can see there, flip it over, and then there's a little catch here. There we go. I kind of pulled it here in the shade. You can get a better look at it. In general, just a lot of glare was in here, and you know, it's a 318. I went ahead and I like these valve covers. I actually put them on everything. It had some other Edelbrock or something on it, and I like these better, so I went ahead and did that, especially because it ran really good. And it's got a 4-barrel Edelbrock carburetor on it as well, and we show pictures of that. Neat thing about underneath here is, again, you get to see all that green paint, the original green paint. You can see down there on the cowl all the original green, and you can see it way down in there. You can see the paint. So you can see here it's got power brakes. And then it's got factory air conditioning right here. It's all hooked up, but it doesn't blow cold. And I don't think it's charged or anything like that, but at least the belts are still on it. And then you can see here it has power steering, and it actually drives really nice, steers nice, and in pretty good shape. When I have it on my lift, I'll show you some more stuff, but it's got new shocks all the way around it. You can see that green down there too, and it has new exhaust as well. But you know, overall, pretty clean underneath here. And nice thing is here, the hood, usually these get pretty rusty, and this one looks pretty nice. And you can see all the original spot welds and stuff here. You know, the truck's definitely not a show truck or anything like that, but I would take it to a cruise-in or something like that, because it does have some eyeball to it, especially when it's driving around. It's just when you get up close, you just notice all the chipping and different things. Here's that fender I was telling you about that had been replaced. You can see a little bit of red here, and I've seen a couple other little spots where it was red as well. But inside here, inside the cowl, you can see that green there. I know I'm talking about that a lot, but I just think it's pretty cool. Pretty rare that was painted that. So we'll go ahead and show you some other stuff. You can see here for the jack, original sticker there. And I'm missing the jack itself, but I have the prop rods, or you know, the crank for it and everything. So hope that gives you a good look. Actually, let's go ahead and start it up, Nolan. Let's hear it run. It's got that classic starter that you always hear. They always sound like the Dragon, but you know, even if this was a 426 Hemi, Mopars have a very unique sound when the starter turns over. And go ahead and rev it up a little bit. You know, sounds good. It's cold a little bit, but you know, it doesn't blow smoke or anything like that. And it's a good running little truck. Hey, here we are driving the D100. I actually love that song. Reminds me of the mid-'80s. And actually, I just heard the lasers going off on the song there. But anyways, we're just out here cruising and enjoying ourselves in this truck. It drives really, really nice and very, very smooth. And you can see it's got AM/FM radio. It's got a USB port. It's got air conditioning, which it's not blowing cold right now, but it's all hooked up. The heater works. I don't know if you can hear the motor. You can actually hear the fan going. The defrost works and the heater. You can see the wipers work as well. Across here, the gauges, everything works. You can see the speedometer, odometer, gas gauge works. Typical car salesman, almost on E. The alternator, temperature, and oil pressure read good. You can see here the lights work for the blinkers as well. All the horns it works, but it is a little pathetic. And you can see here the shifter, the little needle is missing to show you what gear you're in. But overall, the dash in general, everything's pretty much working, which is pretty amazing. I'll show you here that it actually stops pretty nice. Just speed up here for a second and put on the brakes. Stops nice and straight and does pretty well. So anyways, we'll just cruise around here and pull over and let you check out some other stuff. Hey, here we are underneath the little Dodge. You'll find out that it's pretty solid. We've been doing videos. If you've already watched my stuff before, you've noticed we've been doing videos underneath. You're still going to see the still photos on the auction and stuff, but I just feel like a video shows you a lot more of the vehicle, and I can talk a little bit about different things about it, and I think it's just pretty helpful. So anyways, we'll walk underneath here and I'll show you some stuff. So as I mentioned before, I put new tires on it. You can see up here on the lift, You know, you can see the little nubs on it. They're a hand-cooked tire, not a real expensive tire, but I mean it's better than nothing. And they look good on the car. And other things that it has is new shocks, front and back. You know, we just try to do things to it that would make it drivable and you know, just fun to drive and dependable. And you can make changes as time goes. And the other thing is, underneath here with the video, you'll be able to see this sublime green underneath of it. It's the original color to the truck, which I already mentioned was pretty rare. And let's go look here. It's got I-beam front end. It's got drum brakes all the way around. You look up here in the front here, looks really good. But you can see that original lime green there, and all over the place. You can look back there. The footboard and stuff looks good on the cowl. You know, the body mounts look pretty good. You know, the engine looks good. We just did a little bit of detail to it, put valve covers and stuff on it like I mentioned before. You can see here it has the dust shield missing off the front of the tranny. You just got to find one of those, and just screws on there. It's not too big of a deal. One thing we did to the transmission is we put new pan gasket, filter, and also put a shift shaft seal in it. It was leaking a little bit. But if you look up here on the firewall, there's that original green. You know, it's a sublime green. And you can see here, there's the steering box down here. It's got power steering. And we replaced some of the seals in it as well. So you can see the hoses down the road. You know, the tire doesn't hit it, but you can see here that the hoses are getting pretty worn, and there's a little dampness down here, but eventually you'll want to change those hoses out, I would suspect. And but you know, it's just the wear, and there's little tears just on the outer casing of it, and I just wanted to point that out. You can see inside this fender, in a very nice condition. It's not hit up front, and the inner aprons look real nice. You can see here the brake lines. They've actually got a little metal spring around them, but I didn't notice any cracking or anything. I looked at them kind of close there. They're older, but it's kind of nice that they got a rubber spring around it from the, I don't know if they did it like that from the factory or not. You can see here it's got dual exhaust all the way back. It's got glass packs on it. Those were already put on it when I got it. You know, and it actually sounds nice. You'll look here. This truck is really solid, but it's had a few little spots where there's a little bit of rust, but you can see right here, a little bit of rust right there. Rest of the rocker looks real good. You can see these drains aren't plugged, which saved all this back here. But this probably got plugged at some point. Here you can actually see some stuff coming out of there, and that's why that got a little rusty right there, but easy to replace. You look at the back of the cab. Looks in pretty nice shape. I can see maybe a little rust spot right there. You can see that. I'm just pushing in a little bit, and that needs to be repaired, you know, if you so choose. Outside of the rocker, looks pretty good. Some little tiny bubbles. You know, nothing major. Bottom of the fender looks real good. We'll go ahead and look at the floors. You know, in good shape. All this hose here is for the 3 tanks. There's a tank there and a tank here, and one behind the seat. And we're only using the one behind the seat. I haven't even tried these, but you look at the floors, very solid. You look at the body mounts, you know, very clean. Can't see that one, but they're not all broken up or anything like that. And you can see here at on the back of the cab, you know, on the inside, looks pretty good, but you can see a little bit of daylight in that corner there. Go here to the other side. You can see here that this little section, like I pointed out before on the other side, it's been rusted out. That wouldn't be too hard to replace. But the rest of the rocker, this is where you would step down the footwell there. It looks pretty good, and they cut out this little section right here. But again, if you could replace it if you wanted to. It depends what you're going to do with the truck. But those just need to be replaced with little patch panels. But that's really the biggest rust on the truck in general. And here you can see that green, that bright green again. The light's kind of glaring it out, but you know, that's the original paint there. I think I saw it in another, oh, you can see here this support. You can see the green as well there. You know, here's the back of the cab. You know, again, real solid. Then your bed starts here, and the bed looks nice. The other thing I was going to mention too is the frame is in really good shape. You know, you'll see some little bit of surface rust, but you know, it's not rusty. Very clean. We'll go ahead and look at the rear end. I don't see any leaking out the pinion seal. Look at the back of the tranny. You know, nothing leaking there. And the U-joints look pretty good, and not a lot of slop or anything. All the cross members look good. Going across the bed here. You can see originally it had a single exhaust. That's what was here. You know, it brakes real good, but we didn't do anything to the brakes in general. We'll look back here. You can see here the shocks. You know, they're new. The truck actually drives really nice, and like I said before, we've probably, you know, we drove it about 65 miles home, no issues. You know, it just cruises right down the highway. Look back here. You know, the frame looks real good. Look at the bottom of the bed. Not rusty. There's a little damage here I showed earlier. Little flakiness here. Kind of funny, you can see that green again right there in this little spot. But that's not rusty there. It's just some kind of surface underneath there, but looks clean. We'll look here at the bed. You know, that looks real good. Doesn't look like any damage. You can see some kind of there's probably a little hole right there on the back. But back here behind the wheel looks real good. You can see the original spot welds and stuff around here. You can see that green again. You know, inside the wheel tubs look good. And again, you can see inside the bed, you know, so I won't spend too much time underneath here with the bed, but you know, it's a solid bed overall. And go ahead and look at the bottom of the bed right here across. It's not the rocker, it's just the bottom leading edge. And we'll look at the outside of the rocker here. You know, this looks real good. And the back of the cab looks good here too. Going down here. Little dent right there. One thing to note, I can't remember if I said it earlier, but this little star was kind of a signature that Dodge started doing, and Plymouth, you know, Chrysler cars and stuff, but they only put them on this side of the car. So sometimes people will see that and go, wow, that's the other one's missing on the other side, but they only did it on one side. I think that's kind of cool. You can look here at the bottom of the fender. You know, it's not rusty. Looks good, and the front of the fender. So anyways, I hope that gives you just kind of a little different perspective of it underneath. You know, obviously not perfect, but again, you know, for a pickup, very, very solid. And you know, it's a truck you can drive anywhere. If you got any questions, just give me a jingle, look at the photos, and you know, make comments on BAT if you like, and I'll try to answer. So thank you very much.